Hi, Interwoven. I really enjoyed Sunday. Thought it was fantastic hearing and seeing all the different things and photos that speak to different ones of us about family. I love Stu's reminiscing about his rugby days and how being a team and part of a family really mattered. And then his powerful rereading of those words from Ephesians, addressing not just you individually, but all of you, all of us together. And Jill's challenge for us to grow as family, even with the constraints of lockdown. So as family, we go, we grow, and I said there was a little bit more to come. As family, we glow. I want to read you some words I've been mulling over, some words from 2 Corinthians chapter 3. The Apostle Paul says, "Nothing between us and God. Our faces shining with the brightness of his face. And so we are transfigured, much like the Messiah. Our lives gradually becoming brighter and more beautiful as God enters our lives and we become like him." That passage refers back to Moses encountering and meeting God face to face, seeing God face to face. And it makes me think what you see, what you look at, and how you see really matters. I think you become what you behold. And how you see and how we see each other in Interwoven, how we look at one another as family really matters. And so I just want to encourage us to look at each other in Interwoven as family in 3 different ways. I want us first to see the gifts in one another. See and value the gifts God has given us. Jill talked about growing in our gifts. And one way we can do that is call the gifts that God has given us out of one another. And so seeing the gifts in one another leads to appreciation. Appreciation of God as the giver of the gifts, but also appreciation of each other. Second, I want to encourage us today to see the fragility, the humanity, the frailty, maybe even the brokenness in each other. I think we're doing all right at that. There's plenty of opportunity for that. Well prior to lockdown, I went to see a couple of blokes who were part of Interwoven, and I visited them at different times, probably months apart, but I went to see them both just after they'd had operations. And I reckon within 3 minutes of getting in through the door, both of them independently said, "Do you want to see my scars?" I probably gave a polite answer, but inside I was going, "No, not really, not my thing." You only need to skim through our WhatsApp group or our Facebook group, and there's quite a lot of medical related stuff. Don't know whether these photos went to everybody, but certainly there were photos of Miriam's cut finger and then Kirsty's damaged thumb. Julie is updating us on the challenge and the difficulty of back pain. And sometimes it's back pain and sometimes it's bum pain. Marie's encouraging us to pray for Dave's toes that she described as horrendous. It took me a while to switch my phone on Saturday, but as I did, the first thing that popped up was a Facebook post from David giving us his pre-op vital statistics, weight and height for this year and last year. Bit worried he might live stream the operation. So I think we're good at sharing our fragility, our humanity, our frailty, our brokenness. And I think, while I don't want us to get much more medical, I think there's real value in that for us as Interwoven family. Clearly, we're not fancy, but we're family. And so looking at one another and seeing and sharing our frailties and our vulnerabilities, that leads to intimacy. It leads to a healthy interdependence. It leads to lifting each other up in prayer. So let's see the gifts. Let's see the fragility and the humanity in one another. Thirdly, I want to say, let's see Jesus in one another. Let's see the family likeness, God's likeness in each of us, because it's there. Each of us carries the image of God, and each of us reflects Jesus in a different way. And so as we look and see one another, let's look for the image of Jesus in each other. Let's look to see Jesus in one another, because that will lead to adoration. It'll lead to adoration of Jesus, and actually it will transform us. We'll glow. Paul's words from Corinthians. And so we are transfigured, much like the Messiah, our lives gradually becoming brighter and more beautiful as God enters our lives and we become like him. So Interwoven today, as family, remember, go, grow and glow.